Hey everyone, I'm Eric and welcome back. Have you ever checked your bank account and thought to yourself, where the hell is all my money going? Or maybe you yelled it out loud in frustration. Well, you're certainly not alone, and it was that very question that started me on my budget quest and started my obsession with numbers. It turns out your bank account isn't just eating your money like your dryer does to your socks. So you guessed it, today we're going to be talking about how I created a budget to keep track of our spending and how you can stop the blood loss too. And as always on my channel, we'll go over my actual budget with real numbers. So a few years ago, my wife and I were casually comparing our raises that we had just received over our morning coffee. This prompted me to do some quick math in my head of our combined monthly income. Not bad, I thought. Then I did some rough math in my head to combine our monthly expenses. Mortgage, car payment, insurance, phone bills, etc. Something was wrong. The number I came up with for our monthly expenses was way lower than what I came up with for our monthly income. Okay, mild curiosity now became moderate curiosity, so I got a pen and paper and wrote down all of our monthly expenses and the amount. In this more detailed list, I also included a rough guess of our non-fixed expenses such as groceries and gas. Then I looked at our pay stubs and came up with an exact number for our monthly income. And where is all of our money going? I'm willing to bet most of you had had a similar moment. Okay, well now I'm pushing the big red button and launching a full-scale investigation. We should have a lot of money left over every month, yet we're living paycheck to paycheck. Some of you may be thinking, how could you not know how much money you make versus how much you spend? Well, we were living comfortably, and all of our bills were paid on time every month. We ate out a lot and bought a lot of crap impulsively. We weren't struggling, but we were paycheck to paycheck. I guess subconsciously I thought everything must be fine and there was no need to dissect the numbers. So I started with my bank to see if it was eating my money. We bank with Bank of America and they've got a great tool to help you track your spending. It's called Track Spending. So the bank automatically categorizes all of my transactions. This was a great start, but a lot of the transactions were miscategorized, such as our natural gas bill was being categorized as gasoline. So I spent literally days going through every single transaction for the entire previous calendar year and making sure everything was categorized appropriately, or at least how I wanted. I don't know, but I would imagine most banking institutions have something like this. Log into your online banking and look for it or call and ask for it. It's essential in being able to track your spending. Now, unfortunately, when I did this a couple years ago, I didn't know I was going to be starting a YouTube channel, so I didn't save or record any of the numbers. But wow. We did in fact make a lot more money than what our non-discretionary expenses were. So we should indeed have had a lot of money left over every month, but we didn't. So where's all our money going? Well, mostly restaurants and impulse buys. We ate out a lot. It really surprised me how quickly this can add up. Now, from reviewing all of the impulse buys came the rule that I am not allowed to go shopping anymore. Send me out for milk and bread and I'll come home with milk, bread, and a drone. Send me out to get chicken food and I'll come home with chicken food and an electric tractor for my daughter. Okay, so I identified the problem. We need to eat out less and stop buying so much random crap. It was time to get organized and come up with a plan and some rules. Here's what I did and what you can do too. I used Google Sheets to create a spreadsheet to do all of this and put in some really simple equations. Number one, add all of your monthly income. For my wife and I, we just have our individual job incomes. I get paid bi-monthly and my wife gets paid monthly. We're also salaried, so our paychecks are the same, which makes our math here pretty simple. If your paychecks aren't always the same, you'll just need to average it out. If you know that there is typically a pattern to how your pay fluctuate, it may be beneficial to make a month-to-month average. For example, if you typically work a lot of overtime in November to pay for Christmas presents, but don't work any overtime over summer break, then I would make a month-to-month average using pay stubs from the last couple of years. If there aren't really any patterns and it's more random, then just come up with an overall average and use that. Let's talk real quick about discretionary versus non-discretionary spending. Now, discretionary expenses are the things that you are going to pay every month and don't really have a say in it. For example, groceries, insurance, pet care, etc. Discretionary expenses are the drones, toy tractors, and restaurants. Non-discretionary is required to survive. Discretionary is for fun, generally. Number two, write down all of your expenses. First, add all of your non-discretionary monthly expenses that have fixed payment amounts. Include utilities in this category. These are things like your rent or mortgage, car payment, insurance, phone bill, and credit card payments, because it's mandatory to pay your credit card off every month. Remember? Then add all of your non-discretionary expenses that do not have fixed amounts. This is your groceries, gas, animal care, etc. So you're going to add 3 columns for each row of expenses. In the second column, write how much you expect to pay towards that expense for that month. In the third column, you'll put what you actually pay. And in the fourth column, write the day of the month you pay that bill. For some expenses, column 2 and 3 will be the same. For example, my car payment is exactly $656.07 per month. So column 2 and 3 will be the same for this row. However, my groceries, for example, will have a budgeted amount in column 2 and how much I actually spend in column 3. Now, I was really struggling to make a budget with so many expenses that varied each month. How was I supposed to make a budget when I didn't know how much my bills were going to be? The variable cost of utilities was driving me nuts. I wanted to know exactly how much I was going to pay every month. Plus, some bills like my water and garbage are paid every other month. Fortunately, the garbage and water alternate months, so they occupy the same spot on my budget. One month I pay water, the following I pay garbage. But because of this, I suggest making a budget for each month of the year. It's normal for spending in certain categories to fluctuate throughout the year, but typically there is a pattern. Okay, so this next part is going to take a little legwork, but it's totally worth it to get a clear and complete picture of your expenses. Number 3, get on equal pay. A lot of utility companies have what they call equal pay or something to that effect. For us, our electric and natural gas companies offered this. So this is basically where they look at your historical usage, typically the last 6 to 12 months, and come up with an average for you. Then they automatically reevaluate your usage every 3 months, 6 months, or yearly. And then they'll readjust your monthly payment. If you actually use less than you paid for, they'll give you a credit going forward. For example, at the beginning of this year, our electric bill was reevaluated, and it was determined that we built up enough of a credit over the last year that we didn't have to pay anything in January. And our electric bill this month will be 14 cents. If it's determined that you used more than you paid and you actually have a deficit, then that will just be accounted for in your new estimated average. So now our electric and gas bill is exactly the same every month, regardless of our usage. Trust me, do this. It'll make budgeting so much easier. Now, unfortunately, our water company does not offer this, so I decided to figure it out on my own. I contacted our water company and asked for all of our historical usage data for the last 3 years. Since our water is billed every other month, this was actually only 18 bills. So I added the amounts from the same month of each year over the last 3 years and divided by 3 to come up with an average for that month of the year. This was important for us because our water usage is significantly more in the summer than it is in the winter. My wife likes to garden and I've become quite the lawn care freak.
Get off my lawn.
Anyways, this was a relatively easy process and the information was easy to obtain. But now I know how much to budget for water each billing month of the year. You're going to repeat this process for any non-discretionary, non-fixed expenses, such as your groceries, gasoline, and pet care. So now that you have this information, you can populate column 2 for all of your expenses and total it at the bottom. Now you know nearly exactly what you will pay each month. At this point, if it's less than your total monthly income, you're in great shape. Now, as you pay your expenses, put the actual amounts you paid into the third column. This is almost like balancing your checkbook. Now repeat this entire process for each month of the year and bam, you've got yourself a budget. Okay, now let's just talk about it because I know you spotted it. I have Rosa. Rosa comes and cleans our house every other week for $80 a pop or $160 a month. Now I know you're thinking, oh my God, that is so discretionary. Well, you're right, but that $160 a month is the best investment in my marriage that we've ever made. Now you probably also noticed Netflix and you're thinking, my God, is this guy even serious? We don't have a cable or satellite TV subscription, but if you do, I'd be willing to bet that you list that with your utilities under non-discretionary. And your Comcast cable package with 927 channels is way more expensive. So the point here is when it comes to deciding what's discretionary and non-discretionary, use your discretion. So now, subtract your expenses from your income. This is what should be left over at the end of the month. You should take a portion of that right off the bat and put it into a savings account or an investment of some type. Now, whatever you have left over is your discretionary funds. But don't get too excited. Not all of that is for drones and toy tractors. This is how much money you have to pay for irregular expenses and things that pop up on you. For example, we went to the mountain to play in the snow a few weeks ago and my daughter's snow boots didn't fit, so we had to buy her some new ones. Oh, and I need a new furnace filter. And oh, we're out of laundry detergent. And oh, my wife managed to find 2 screws and a nail and run them all over with the same tire. This is all the random crap that isn't included in any one category. Now, at the end of the month, you can use whatever's left over to buy a drone or a toy tractor. As far as the budget month goes, it doesn't have to be a calendar month. Our budget runs from the 15th to the 14th of each month. I get paid on the 1st and the 15th, and my wife gets paid on the 15th. Since my paycheck on the 1st of every month is almost entirely our mortgage payment, I consider the 15th to be payday. As far as how much to take right off the top for savings or investments, again, that's totally up to you. You need to decide how much you like your lifestyle and how important it is to you. What sacrifices and changes you're willing to make are solely up to you. But I will leave you with this little nugget. If you were to take $500 off the top and put it into a savings account with a 1.8% interest rate and do this for just 20 years, you'd have $144,805.55, of which only $120,000 would be your money. You'd earn $24,305.55 in interest. That's free money. All right, everyone, as always, I hope you were able to learn something from this video. This is essentially step one in creating any sort of positive financial change, and I hope you find some inspiration to dive into your financial numbers. Please subscribe if you haven't already to keep learning with me on my financial journey. And if you found any value at all in this video, please hit the like button for me. Until next time, make it happen.